Hello there, how's it there? I'm Mega Kidades. Alright. Yes, I take inspiration from Sunny V2 video title, and at the same time, when you think about the franchise of who know how long when the Star Wars having two so-called recent failure, you can't really blame me for putting up such a title that the one TV drama, The Acolyte, as well as the game, The Outlaws, having so-called being flopped in their individual industry, to the point that if you think about it, it really is gonna be a so-called nightmare and be a funny joke or being called out by many people as the worst of the Star Wars series. So we are gonna talk about two of them in one shot. Why? Because I feel like because they both belong to Star Wars in a way, and you can't really put both of them away from each other when you consider that both of them are one being cancelled and one being so-called a game flop. So I mean, like, sure, I can put both of them differently, but it's kind of like back to one simple thing, one simple trend that tie them all to one and make you realize that, hey, maybe there is something to it on why I have to put them as one, as well as the reason why they can be considered a failure. So what was the tie-up, the common trend? It's a simple thing that what a lot of people now been trying to deny or trying to rebrand it, the DEI, diversity, equality, as so-called equality, as well as inclusive, something that a lot of people always been saying that it might be wrong or it might be right, or who know how long whatsoever thing for whatever mean. And initially it was a good point of trying to indicating like they want diversity in the game or drama was over along the line, equality for everyone, as well as inclusive of stuff that they feel like have been left out. With such a good mindset on paper, obviously it's going to be misused by many people, aka the Sweet Baby Ink. But obviously it doesn't mean just that, because when you kind of like add DI to so many things that make people really wonder like, is that really what we want? Obviously it's gonna get a lot of people upset, a lot of people not liking it, and what they always say, if you don't like it, you don't play the game. If you don't want it, don't watch the show. And this is really one of the reasons why it led to the failure of not just the Acolyte of the Star Wars series, but also the Outlaw, the game series itself. So I know it's kind of funny that when you think about it, but at the same time you can't really blame anyone why it considered a failure. Alright, so first thing first, I do want to highlight, let's talk about the Star Wars, the Acolyte. So basically, in a nutshell, it's just a story drama, and it's kind of like wanting to indicate some along the line of like adding stuff to so-called adding DI to a universe. And I talk about this for who know how long when, that for a stuff that is fantasized, for its fantasy or whatever you want to call it, or science fiction along the line, obviously adding stuff, you need to make sure that, yeah, if it doesn't make sense, it's just basically that logic. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that you can just add whatever you want to the story. If the story doesn't make sense or there is no consistent to the story, as well as there is no of like everything just doesn't seem to flow in the right way, you can just feel like everything is just weird, everything just feel forceful, and obviously it's gonna get a lot of people mad. So what actually went down was the show got cancelled. Initially they kind of like have one of the person who the so-called the main star making a video, one video calling out for all the haters for the loss of viewership, which most of the TDS actually did a very good way of covering. So as a refresher course, the same person did a dish thread basically calling out all the so-called haters of the show when it first started out, saying that if you don't like the show, you can don't watch it, as well as that people don't understand about the show. Obviously it kind of turned a lot of people off, with I believe there was some people stating that around more than 90% of the fan base actually left. And when you think about like, it's a TV drama, what you want to know is that when it comes to TV, you need to have a specific amount of viewers to at least get back on terms of like advertisement as well as viewership, and that is what make them money. So when you kind of like lost that, when you lost all your viewers base, obviously you are going to get people not liking it. So in a way, it's like this the Star Wars so-called main cast addressed the cancellation of Star Wars the Acolyte, claiming there wasn't surprise due to hyper-consensitive biography whatsoever along the line, hatred, hateful language. But the thing is, right, they market the show as, I do agree on a lot of points, is that they market the show with the DEI stuff, as well as they, even before it got end, the same young Lele attacking the fans, saying like, you're all haters, if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. Obviously, when people don't like it, they don't watch it. It was just simple as that. So when that actually happened, the show was cancelled due to low viewership. It was very simple because the show cost a lot to be made per minute of screen time. Amazingly, I was like, wow, I didn't expect that much. And when people don't like it, when people don't like it, obviously people won't even care about it. People are not going to think about it, and it's just going to be just so-called forgotten into the abyss. So the show in decline on the viewership after a few episodes, apparently that it was episode 3, it kind of like got people turned off, and it was when it was indicating the lesbian space, which I think at that point my mind is like, that episode yeah, I kind of like guess why, because it was basically DEI. So back then they tried like. Back then they kind of like go with the DEI whatsoever, and it kind of like made people wondering like, what the hell is that? I mean, like, sure, if you go with the scientific that this is a universe along the line, then yeah, I can see why. But it just like a lot of things back in the old Star Wars, there is a lot of things that, yes, they doesn't make sense, but it's like there is reason for it. But in recent Star Wars, they just, I feel like it's just that a lot of the writers or whatsoever just been too lazy, and they never really like kind of like indicating how does this happen or how does that happen along the line. I mean, like, the funny thing is, right, yes, in Journey to the West, there is a Pacific story indicating Milmong, including like Zupa Jie, they drinking the baby making water, and they explain that whoever drink water, that Pacific baby making water will become pregnant. And they did indicate that the reason why there is such a water is because there is a kingdom of ladies and there is no guys. So when there is like all girls and no guys, how do they have a baby? So they kind of like drink that water. But the only issue with that is that if a guy drink the same water, they will become pregnant, but instead of having a baby, they all dies because a male can't give birth. So it kind of like give a very interesting story to that, as well as that how they even come up with like there is something called abortion water, which is meant for the guys to drink, or if girls who like female who accidentally drink the water, or maybe like they are going to die if they don't drink the water along the line, then obviously there is such a cure. But obviously for the Western, when they come out like, oh, the Force will make you pregnant. Yeah, imagine like if out of nowhere the Force will make me pregnant, then I guess May the Force is something that I don't want to celebrate anymore, because May the Force impregnate you along the line. Yeah, there's gonna be a hoo-ha great slogan that the Star Wars love to remember. Because the thing is, right, you think about it, it's kind of weird why would they go with such a thing, and more so like even like slowly on about like they include a black, they include an ASEAN, they include whatsoever along the line, and it kind of like get people saying that, hey, there is black representing the black, there is the ASEAN representing the ASEAN, and last time show, just I don't play a game or watch a show just because it contains my race. If it's not good, I don't play the game, I don't watch the show, like what they always want. And kind of like the largety when they kind of like, yes, it's a female main cast and the story doesn't make sense to me, which is the reason why I kind of like don't care about Star Wars anymore after that episode. But the thing is, right, in recent time, when you have the main cast attacking the fan base for like the main hardcore fan over the story, obviously it's gonna get a lot of people mad. And it's kind of like throw her under the bus is that the article, the Fabe, actually did an article saying the very obvious reason Disney cancelled the Acolyte, it wasn't toxic. It wasn't toxic, dude, bro. It was, in what they say, the real culprit is twofold. The show was far too expensive and did not draw big enough number to justify the cost, and the show was far more expensive again and did not receive critical acclaim and widespread fan support. So when you think about it, right, number one, when you have a show that is so big, when you have, like, first thing first, you don't have the fan base to like it, obviously people is going to ignore it, people is not going to like it, it's going to be forgotten. And secondly, why it also doesn't justify the cost is that you have to understand, they do make money from merch sales, and if people don't like it, then obviously people is not going to buy the merchandise, people is not going to care about the merchandise. Even if Disney do go with the idea saying that maybe we can get some people to buy it along the line, no. If people don't like it, they're not going to support it. And when people don't support it, you are going to make a huge loss. So Disney decided to pull the plug and cancel the show, and that was the main reason. Rev actually did a very, very good cover on that end, and in a way, Master of TDSR actually covered quite a very summarized version. So if you guys want to check them out, go and check on link in the description below. They do cover it very nicely. It's really kind of like showing that a failure of one end does show that not everything works. And at this point of time, when people say, like, does DEI work for that? No. And obviously it doesn't even make anything good when another company that is well known for working with DEI decided to release that's another game for this the Star Wars franchise or Disney or whatever you want to call it along the line. And what I'm referring to is the same company that released a Black Samurai going around killing Japanese, the Ubisoft. So Ubisoft also is the same company who decided to create a new create a game, not the new game, sorry, a game that's called the Star Wars Outlaw. The game where they kind of indicating a young so-called Lele, who a lot of people been bashing it because the freaking Lele, actual real life Lele, who they modern the game character after, not only does they make the game character more uglified, they give her the freaking chin that make people like wondering, like, how is that even possible? So obviously it's just not just that. I've seen a lot of video, I've seen JT video, I have seen Charlie video, I have seen although I don't really like to use most of his video as source, but Mustafa, SomeOrdinaryGamers video, and at Moscow video. So based on their point of view as well as their understanding, I can definitely give with, like, my view is that I think the game is really and what Charlie would definitely say in his video.
You're welcome for saving you money.
Yep, right at the point of zero, no. Yes, he actually said, is Star Wars Outlaw worth buying? No. It really seems to show that it's not worth buying it. And I think it's fair to say that I'm sorry, not video. Is it alright to call him a VTuber or YouTuber? I'm not sure, but heck, DreadRoberts actually did a very good way of covering the whole audio, and I would recommend you guys to check out all the video in the link description below to understand more on their point of view as their and I'll kind of like try to summarize everything into a bite size for you guys because this is random chat. Don't want to how repeat every single one point of view, but in a way, right, I do agree that the game, if we don't add in DI, if we don't make it like confusing or what's not, I think it's fair to say that maybe, just maybe, there is a niche for it for people to like the game because it's an open world Star Wars game. I believe it was Mustafa-san covering it, saying that there is like moment of stuff that a Star Wars hardcore fan would like the map, the Easter egg and what's not. I think that maybe there is a niche for it. But obviously when it comes to the gameplay itself, it got a lot of people not happy about it. And even like Mustafa himself actually do cover it, like, it's like, yes, like even the I believe Charlie also kind of like cover it himself, is that there is quite a few interesting part of the game, but That's basically it. It's just a boring game that even anyone who can't just sit through the whole game because the game is really damn bad, and it's just only the tip of the iceberg. Because if you think about it, right, number one, the game has full of bugs. Number two, there's a lot of issue with the game mechanic that actually got even Amos go laughing to the point over and give the saying that the game is actually fucked, because you can just hide in the booth, everyone saw you, people just go towards the booth, trying to shoot at the booth, trying to kill you but couldn't find you. Like, dude, it's just a small little booth. How can you guys not find a young lady hiding in the booth? Just set the booth on fire and be done with it. I mean, like, it's kind of like just show how bad the game is. And more so, like, I think like when people say like, hey, when you alert a enemy, you alert the whole enemy. And I mean, like, it's true, because when you have like intruder, obviously you want to get more people and try to overwhelm the intruder with numbers. But more so is that if you know where the intruder are, how can you guys be so damn stupid? Like, you are shooting at the booth, you are running into the booth, and yet you can't find the lady. Wow. Stealth mechanic at the very best. So the thing is, right, the game is already kind of like have some good part, but it really can't justify the game being given as 7 out of 10 by IGN, the same company which give Monkey King, Black Myth Wukong, whichever I want to call it, an 8 out of 10 because they claim no diversity. Dude, this game is not, it's like, if they want to add diversity and give that a high score, yeah, go ahead, I don't mind. But when the game is so full of bugs, full of issues, to the point that they have to revamp and give a new patch to the game, and to the point that the game have, like, everyone who have the game and who kind of like pay in advance, or maybe like pay more for the game itself, having to restart the whole game all because of the stupid update patch. And it really kind of like get me really wonder, like, is that what you want? Like, you're making all your loyal fan base pay for your mistake. Like, dude, at least some sort of conversation or some sort of refund would be nice, but instead, there's no sort of refund, there's no sort of whatsoever. And obviously, when in what Amos Go would definitely say, they pay what they deserve, and they deserve what they pay. In a way, it's kind of like, yeah, they really deserve it because they pay a lot for a game that is gonna be a problem, and now that they spend like 2-3 days playing the game, only to find out that the 2-3 day of gameplay is gonna get restarted because of the new update, and that you have to restart playing the game. You can't get any refund, you can't do anything about it, and obviously it's gonna get a lot of people pissed off. But maybe some hardcore fan decided to say, hey, it should be some, maybe we shouldn't give too much expectation. But if anything is what I would definitely say, a modern catastrophe. Match GT-san did cover a lot of the reason behind it, so I would recommend you guys to also check his video carefully to understand from his point of view. But the thing is, right, when you kind of like taking a lot of the issue about DI, bad modeling and what's not, it really does show that it's not just game bug issue, it's also the graphical issue as well. There's quite a lot of people indicating that there is some sort of like issue with the ray tracing that is being forced on the game itself. So for me, who's using a 4060, and I'll be like wondering, like, will it affect my graphic card in a bad way? Because it kind of like indicating, like, I would recommend you guys, if you want to hear more from his point of view, is that he kind of like indicating the game is using additional stuff from the PC without you knowing it. So even if your game is one of the top notch or just a mid tier or whatever you want to call it, your computer is going to be run on the higher setting for no apparent reason, and may somehow toast your PC for who know what sort of reason. So if you think about it, right, having a graphical issue, that having game bug issue, having to not even compensate the player fan base who pay more for the game, it really kind of beg the question, like, how else can they go? And also, don't forget, there's still another game that Ubisoft is gonna get released soon. the Assassin's Creed Shadow. If Assassin's Creed Shadow, one of their biggest franchise, the Assassin's Creed series, gonna have the same issue as that, it's gonna be a big problem. It's not gonna be just because a black person going around killing Japanese people. It's gonna be a full of bug issue, and the story is just gonna be the same way if they get the same way of the story as comparable to Star Wars Outlaw. One of the funny thing I do hear from most of them indicating that the game itself, for the game was Outlaw, is that a lot of people watch the gameplay of streamer, people watch quite a lot of people like kind of understand for the first few days to have an understanding on how the game mechanic may be. Is it worth buying it? Is it worth supporting the viewers who play the game? Apparently, no. Like seriously, it's just no. And I'm not trying to like be harsh on the game itself. It's just that when you have so many issues with the game, like people, a lot of game journal trying to do a hit piece on Black Myth Wukong, when there is hardly any bugs, when there is hardly any issue with the game, and it's being so-called the best game out of 2024 at the moment, one of the best, okay? You have this game which they claim to be a triple A or the best triple A game along the line. I feel like it's really just deserved its failure at this point of time, because there's really no point on the game or even trying to support the game. And maybe, just maybe, when they do hit the shelf on the great sales or maybe the Black Friday sales or whatever sale there is in any part of the world, yeah, the only issue is that will people even bother buying it? Because you're gonna end up buying a game that is gonna not only destroy your PC allegedly, but also you gotta just have a whole issue with the gameplay itself. And it's to me like, it's just really not worth buying it or even supporting it in the first damn place, as well as that it's just showing that this is gonna be a game series that is gonna be a nightmare for Star Wars series or the franchise itself as well. So you have one show that is considered also being cancelled and a failure, and you have a game that is totally out of everyone's mind, is that not even worth supporting. And mind you guys, DreadRoberts do cover it is in his video, indicating that people seem to go back and watch it, and then out of nowhere, people, once the game died down, people just forget about it. It does show that the number of people who consider supporting the game is not really there anymore. It's gonna be just a failure. Just people is just gonna take a whole hour and another thing, and the game reset or so called because they want to repatch the whole save file or whatever. That's why they have to ask everyone to replay the game again. Yeah, you have to imagine like you pay a lot more to play the game in advance, 2-3 days in advance, only to so-called that you have to restart with everyone on the official day launch. And to me, I mean like, I'm fine with new game products, don't get me wrong, but if I have to restart every single thing with no compensation, with no additional stuff, obvious, and I mean like, at least give the character some sort of like additional skill point or what's not, at least as a compensation or something. But there's nothing. Obviously, it's gonna turn a lot of people, or people is just not gonna play the game. People is gonna piss off. I mean, like, if Charlie's son actually did indicating that he only played a few hours and he just said, okay, have enough. It's a fair point to say that they may give a the argument saying that later on the story may be better, the game may be better. But the only issue is that you have to understand, first impression of the game matters. If the first impression is really something that get a lot of people not liking the game, then you are gonna lose it, even if you say that, if or even alleged or claim or even you want to say that the game is better at the end. You can't grab people at the start. How you gonna grab people at the end? You have to understand it start from somewhere, and it's always the front impression all the way how to retain the tension as well as end it in a good way. So my final take for Star Wars Outlaw and Star Wars Acolyte, to me, I think it's fair to say that it's gonna be a whole new flop, a whole new failure, and it's gonna be a huge nightmare within Star Wars franchise itself. I mean, like, I don't follow Star Wars anymore, so I can't really give too much day on it. And more so that apparent that Ubisoft might be in serious trouble as covered by Hiro Hyo-san. Hyo-san indicating that Ubisoft indicating that Star Wars Outlaw was one of the game to be so-called trying to bring in money, but with how the game flopped at the time of this recording, maybe it may get a sudden surge maybe down the line, who knows, but if it getting a lot of criticism, a lot of backlash, a lot of people making noise about it, I don't think it's gonna be, I don't think they're gonna bounce from it. More so when there is another game that is gonna release, which is basically the Assassin's Creed Shadow. So just based on Star Wars itself, I don't think like earlier I mentioned, I don't think anyone is gonna remember these two. Maybe people may somehow, some way, somewhat recall it, but I mean, like, considering that there's like for only up to 50k signature wanting the Acolyte to bring back, when there is like millions of hardcore Star Wars fan, that is not even like 1% of it, you know. Like seriously, it's not. People is just gonna just tell you, hey, maybe we just think it's fair to not even support the Star Wars at this point of time, because when they claim that it's over 90%, I think it's really like 99% of Star Wars fans just say not enough is enough. But who knows? I mean, like, maybe it's just me just being harsh on them, or who's not, why not. Maybe you guys can write in the comment section, do you think that the Acolyte as well as the Outlaw is gonna be a huge nightmare for the Star Wars franchise itself, or is it just gonna be something that people remember or talk about in the future or future down the line? Who knows? I just want to hear from you guys how you guys think about it, or maybe something I missed out. Maybe you guys can add in the comment below to let me know more, so that maybe I might do a follow-up video to talk about it. But with that, I do have to let you guys know that whatever I say technically still is my speculative thought. It's just a random chat, so take everything you want with a huge pinch of salt and throw the salt at the screen if you need to. But if you do like this video, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe for more random chat where I talk about stuff that sometimes never makes sense or never follow a single trend. But the one thing that I can make sure is I hope you guys have a nice day or night. Bye.